What if your business could keep growing, even when you step away? What if one day you could cash out for millions? In this episode, Kevin reveals how he turned his blue-collar hustle into a life-changing exit, and the 5 secrets every business owner must know before they sell.
You can't explain it to my 94-year-old grandmother and she doesn't get it in 30 seconds, you don't know it.
There's a reason why Kings had board of advisors sitting around a table
so much
before they
faster.
made decisions, because they knew it was life or death.
You never stop growing. Once you stop growing, you're just going to start dying at some point.
This isn't theory, it's real. Get ready, because this is the playbook for building a business worth buying.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Welcome, Blue Collar Millionaires, to another podcast. This is a special podcast because, Kevin, this is the first podcast after you have sold your business, the business that is kind of what made you the blue collar millionaire. Tell us what we need to know so that we can get to this same place in our business journey.
Okay, let's see. This is a fun subject, something I've been thinking about for many years. So when people talk about an exit, it really means a sale for your business. What kind of exit means I don't know, I guess it means you're selling it for a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Because somebody just sells something for 200 grand and they don't call
Right.
it that. So an exit works off generally a multiple of your EBITDA and then some FF&E, furnitures, fixtures, and equipment.
Yep.
So your EBITDA is, if you guys don't know it, that's earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization. It's kind of a fancy word for net profit. Forget about gross revenue. It's net profit that matters.
Yeah.
You need to increase gross revenue to increase profit, but you have to focus on your profit. If you're selling to private equity, you're going to need to get that EBITDA probably 1.3 million and up. That's net profit. So that's a lot. And then they're going to give you a multiple on that, depending on what industry you're in and some other factors in your business. That could be a low-end multiple might be 5, 4, and high might be, we have somebody coming on who did 17.
Yeah.
That means if he was making $2 million a year net profit and he sold for 17, it's a $34 million exit. That's why they call it an exit. It's game
right.
over.
That's right.
Okay. But generally, those are a little lower now. They could be anywhere, mostly going to be somewhere in the 6 to 9, 6 to 10 range. Tech is higher, but we're talking blue collar businesses. So there's a lot of things to do to get your business ready for sell. But you should be building a business to sell because you're going to make more money. It's going to be easier for you while you're doing it. You're going to get it set up, because before I sold this business for several years, it's been essentially pretty easy. I'm the guy who worked 80 hours, maybe even 100, because I was thinking about it all day, every day,
Right.
to more like 15 because I got Blue Collar Millionaire and other things. But the crazy thing is it was still growing. Like, that would have blown my mind 10 years ago. Like, I'm not really going to be doing much, maybe a Zoom call, answer a couple questions, texts, and maybe 1 or 2 things, and it's going to grow. Like, how would that, I would just think all the wheels are going to fall off. So you need to get your business like that. So let's talk about the 5 things.
Yeah, because until it's growing without you, I don't think you're going to be able to get a very good multiple on your business, and you're not going to be able to also walk away from it. They're going to want you in the day-to-day,
Yeah.
and you'll turn into an employee. From what I have watched others communicate has happened when they weren't in that situation. So I would say number 1 that I've seen, granted, I've not been through an exit yet, on the way to do that, but I have seen and had a lot of communications with other individuals that have done it, and they all had clear vision. They knew exactly what they were providing to their customer avatar. They weren't the yes man. And that's what I see, and I've even made this mistakes in my early days, is I was the yes man. I did whatever they asked. If they needed this done, I said yes, because that was revenue coming into the door. That was the schedule getting filled. But the ones that really do well and get to take what we call an exit, a good rip on income by selling their business, they've all had a very distinctive focus. Like, yours was gutter cleaning. This other guy that'll be coming on in a few podcasts, his was plumbing. These individuals said, here is my service, here's what I provide to the marketplace, and anything else I say no to.
I love that. So here's a good thing. I saw this on, some people don't like Ty Lopez, but he's got a lot of interesting stuff. He said this, I heard this, remember, 10 years ago, listening to him. He says, if you can't explain it to my 94-year-old grandmother and she doesn't get it in 30 seconds, you don't know it.
That's good.
And I thought, when he said that, I was like, I clean gutters for apartment complexes, condo associations,
Yeah.
and X amount of states at that time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got that? That's easy. Too many people are like, yeah, well, we do handyman, and then we do drain cleaning, and we'll do your
Yeah.
deck, and oh yeah,
Yeah.
we do pressure washing.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. So a company doesn't really know what to do with that. That doesn't mean you have to be so niche like I do, but yeah,
Right.
plumbing. And
Right.
then are you heavy residential? Are you heavy commercial? Like really dial it in, because they want to take your vision, everything you built, and if they want to put some extra stuff on it,
Right.
because private equity, that's what they want to do. They want to dump more money on it.
Right.
That's what they want to do. They want to do what I did and then just grow it.
Right. Now, let's talk about that for a second, because they're growing it, but they're not just taking, in your situation, they're not just taking Gutter King and growing Gutter King. They're taking other models like Gutter King, doing the gutter cleaning,
Yeah.
and they're going, typical private equity, they're going and buying other businesses in that same model, pulling them together so that they have a very large profit to go to sell to the next tier of buyer.
Exactly. So they are a fund in
Yeah.
themselves, and they're going to turn that fund over every 3 years, and they're going to sell it to a bigger fund. So they've already done it. This is their third. I'm a part of the third one.
Wow.
So what they did they're buying gutter cleaning, but there's not a lot of big gutter cleaning companies. But then I had this really niche thing because I had the commercial. They wanted that, but they have a lot of pest control and soft wash. So they want to take those companies that are in the states now I'm in, and then now they have this customer base because of me, apartment complex, condo associations, and they also do dryer vent cleaning. They're going to sell all these things to them. And we talked
Interesting.
about how to round that about. First spend a few months doing just a gutter cleaning, getting them really familiar, and then they're going to say, we also do this and that, and they're going to kill it because they have all these things set up. It's not going to be some submodel and, hey, I got to find guys who
Right.
clean dryer vents, because I thought about doing that.
Right.
They already have the teams, so they're just going to plug it in. They're going to take over entire complexes.
I've heard the statement "own the home." It sounds like that's what they're doing. They're going to own this commercial home
Yep.
and move forward. What would you say is number two?
Predictable cash flow.
Yeah.
They want to see, this is your history, like your trailing 60 months. They want to see there's been growth, there's steady growth. So you don't want to sell that business for like 3 years you did well, and then COVID, you jumped there, and now your business is not worth what you think it is.
Right.
Because mine was, it had more of a growth, but it's continually going up. You have to be able to show that, and they're going to want to look at like literally till almost the day of closing.
Yeah.
They were looking and comparing month to month. I was going through them for the last 6 months. They were comparing that to the last 2 years, and they wanted to see increases and what it is. If not, they want to, why?
Right.
Why are you down in March? Because I was down in March for the first time in 2 years, but it was because of weather and a couple things. So our April trended high. The combination of 60 days, we were up. But had I not gone up in April, and then it was May 1st, and they're like, wait, why are you down 2 months? That deal could have,
Yeah.
they would have changed that deal.
Yeah.
They were saying like, hey, we're changing that deal. So you got to have predictable cash flow. Private equity wants to, because they're going to wire you a big amount of money. They
Yeah.
need money coming back day one.
Absolutely.
They literally did that on 8.5. We didn't do any jobs on 8.6, which is rare for us to just take a day.
Yeah.
8.7, they were doing jobs, multiple ones.
Yeah.
That's how quick. They want money coming in again. And
I
it's
mean,
August.
That's
know?
that's what they're buying. They're buying a cash
Yeah.
machine. If it stops printing cash, then what
So-
do they buy?
Yeah, they need to go to their board and say, hey, this is dumping this money in this guy's account. This is what our first 30 days is going to look like. This is it. So we're forecasting all that with approved jobs, signed jobs, everything we have signed for the fall, and then all the trailing 12, 24 months.
Yeah.
That's what they want. They want predictable cash flow. It can't be, if you don't know, first of all, they wouldn't want you because
Right.
to get to $1 million plus EBITDA, $2 million, you're going to have really predictable cash flow, but that's what they want to see.
I mean, when you're stroking a big check like this, predictable, I think, is a very key word in this process. Predictable leads. Like, how are you getting this work in? There's another predictability because they want risk mitigation. They want to make sure that when they're paying this, that there is a path to where they pay off this debt and it starts to have free cash flow. I think this is probably the biggest thing that I notice in Blue Collar Millionaire is nobody can, they say word of mouth. Like, how do you get your leads? Word of mouth. But if you can't sit here and say, I put this much, this action in this many times and it produces me this many opportunities, and out of this many opportunities, we get to this many appointments, and out of this many appointments, we close this many sales. And you can't look at multiple channels to be able to say, this is how we get our leads and this is how they make it to where we can actually service and collect on payment. You don't have predictability there.
Yeah. So that's predictable leads and predictable marketing systems at work. So we did that with them too. We showed them, here's our buckets. This is our cold outreach on calls. This is our cold outreach on emails. This is what's happened historically.
Right.
This is likely to continue. This is how many word of mouth or referrals we get based literally month to month over the last 24 months. This is how it works. You can expect this again. This is organic. This is how you can push this. These are systems we use. Like we do, one system we use is every time we clean a new customer manager, we do it. We follow it with pictures. We follow up with a call, make sure everything's going, an email. And then as soon as we see, if they're not saying, hey, we had a problem, if they're doing that, we go into solving.
Right.
But let's assume 95% of them are happy. Then we go into a script of, hey, if you're happy, would it be okay if we reach out to other managers in your company and let them know that we did a good job for you? And they'll say, sure, Kevin, you do that. And some of them will say, if you want, I can give you their names. And sure, we'll take it. Otherwise, we're pulling that off.
Yeah.
We're pulling that off Hunter.io and AI. We already have it.
Yeah.
And then we go and then we let them know. And then what do? They go talk to that manager, and that manager says, yeah, you did a good job. They did a good job. They're good. We taught them that too.
Yeah.
Because we see that every time we do that, it produces 0.8 leads or whatever it is. And we do it all the time.
It's so funny because really what it boils down to is the effort.
Yeah.
Like if you put effort in, you're going to find results down the road, down the pipeline. And none of this is really rocket science. Now, you had a really unique understanding of how to grab data so that you could reach out. But outside of getting the data in your hands, the effort was just sending the email, making the phone call, doing the follow-up once the job was done. And all of those were processes that allowed you to have predictable income coming through the door, leads, conversions, and income. Therefore, profits, which is what you got paid off of.
And just so people know, I never stop. Personally, I stop, but people on my team never stop. We're calling, emailing every day, 5 days a week. It never stopped. And this is going back since 2009. We just go like this. It was me at one point, then it was two guys, then it was three, then it was people in the Philippines helping, and so on. You never stop growing. Once you stop growing, you're just going to start dying at some point.
Yeah.
You're going to have some churn.
Makes me think of that statement, do the boring.
Yeah.
Like, because
consistent.
when it's not new, when it's not fresh, when you're not trying to figure it out, it does get boring. It's routine at that point. But that boring stuff is what's working.
We'll hand it off to somebody else. If it's so boring, make it super simple and let someone else. We have a friend, Mark Evans. He says, it works so well, I stopped doing it. That's what he says. This is true. We all did this. Something worked and we stopped because it's like, we saw something Alex Hormozy was talking about. I'll do that. Stick with what works. You can try new things. You can go learn about those new things, but stick with what works. And then get your team doing it.
Delegate it.
Another part is clean books. Knowing your numbers. I could go in on this, but you have to know it. You can't. I mean, if you get to that thing, you're likely going to have a fractional CFO.
Right.
I did not have that for Go-to-King. I'm a numbers guy. I like doing numbers.
Yeah, I was about to say you're good at that. So
that's
really
kind of
fill
my
that
thing.
role.
Most guys aren't. So if that's your thing, you like it. But I won't do it again for other businesses. Clearly, like Mike Gaines, he's so much further ahead of me. I'm like, why was I even doing it? I should have just been letting him.
Yeah.
But you have to know your stuff, and then you have to know what's add backs. Add backs are stuff that you're paying for in your business that the new company won't. So say you're leasing a car, or you have your phone bill, your personal phone. They don't have to pick it up. Now that's nothing, but you want to find some big stuff.
Right.
Maybe you're paying your wife a salary, which she's not really doing anything, and they don't need her.
Yeah.
So you want to get that back because say you're paying her $50,000 a year and you're getting an 8x multiple. That's $400,000, and they may fight you for that. I was fortunate; I had that because of all the stuff we talk about. I was very lined up on that. I had separate kind of accounts. I call them BS type stuff. They're not tax evasions things.
Explain that though.
That's stuff that I'm paying for with business expenses that are legitimate. The IRS allows it. That could be paying my son.
But it goes away when you go away from the business.
But when I go away, they're not going to pay my son $14,200 at 6 years old. So I'm going to get a multiple on that. But I I didn't have it all kind of clustered. I had it lined up. So when they came to me and I showed them the books, I showed, hey, this is our profit and loss, here's our tax, and here's add backs.
Yeah.
And I had them detailed and everything.
What was your credit card name?
I got one. It says Kevin Marin BS on the thing, because I use that at different things.
Yeah. But I thought that was really clever because that allowed you to have it very clean. It's not, they didn't have to go statement line item by line item and say, yeah, that was towards this, that was towards this. You really teed it up for them to be able to hit the ball and say, okay, clearly stated this was going to be leaving when Kevin leaves.
So the reason I have two credit cards, it's the same credit card, American Express, but we all have employees who have them.
Right.
So I have two. I have Kevin Marin, and then I have a Kevin Marin, this BS one.
Yeah.
I have them both in my wallet. I know they look exactly the same. I look at it. That's why I can't make a mistake.
Right. Very, very
so
smart.
say they're coming to an event we're throwing. That could be called education for their business, but it doesn't really, they don't want that on their bottom line, but they want to use the expense. So
you realize that you've got a multiplier on every dollar that's being counted towards expense. It really does put it at a whole nother, it makes you think differently. Like you sat there and said 8X on it. Well, that was 400,000.
Yeah.
That you don't walk away with. That's life-changing money for most folks.
Yeah.
400,000.
That's a lot of extra money.
Man, when it makes you look at your expenses and where you spend your money and how you let your books look like when you're looking to sell it to someone and there's a multiplier behind it.
Yeah. If it's $125,000 on those things, mine was much more than that in add backs. And you're getting a 10X, that's $1.25 million. You don't want that money? Because they're not going to tell you.
No.
They're going to be like, yeah. They're not going to tell you. You have to fight with them a little bit. But the more, I like to come prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not asking, I'm telling you what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have to now get me off that because they knew this guy knows. He's got his stuff.
So number 5, we kind of touched on it just a second ago about, it's so boring. We stop doing it. It's working so well. We get bored. We try to find something new. People's the number 5. What would have happened if you didn't have this thing? Because you said you got consistent growth right now.
Yeah.
But what would have happened if you were a part of that consistent growth?
2 things. I think I would have got a lower multiple, or they would have required me to stay for 2 years on and run it and do all these things and integrate their teams and everything. And that sounds like a nightmare. Yeah. I wouldn't even do it then.
Yeah.
Because now you kind of have a boss.
Right.
And you were just like kind of crushing it. But we know because we've bought businesses where the owner was heavily involved, and we bought them for 2 and 3X multiples or less. If you want the highest multiple, you have to remove yourself. You can't be what one guy calls a dancing monkey, like you're kind of doing everything. You're the guy. Right. Like if you didn't show up for a week, nothing's really getting done. It's going to be a mess.
I mean, it's dangerous when the rainmaker's being taken away.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what most business owners are. Even these really big businesses, if you're the one connected to all the relationships, you're the one making sure all of your leaders are doing what they're supposed to be doing, you're the face of the company, it's not worth near as much. They're the rainmaker. And what's going to happen when the rainmaker goes?
And the way to do that is get better people, get A players so they can do more, and then incentivize them. You could say, hey, you could have some profit sharing, but if you don't have to be at $1 million EBITDA. Say you're at 400,000 EBITDA. You got a nice little company now, and you're growing. You say, hey, this is what we're going to do over 3 years. Be the leader, be the visionary. This is how you're going to get paid at the end of this. And it's almost like golden handcuffs. You have to stay to do this. Because a lot of times when you sell, this happened with me, when you sell, team members have to stay on.
Right.
So we have something like that too. And then they're getting incentivized to stay on. I mean, yesterday we were sending bonuses around. There were a lot of happy people. Yeah. And they're going to get another one because there is an earn-out component of that.
Right.
So I need them to be even more, it's like, hey, you got this, be happy, but there's a bigger one coming. It's actually 75 days from this August 5th. So they go another year and then you get 75 days to collect it.
Yeah. I know some of the conversations I've had with building out my leadership is we've added what we call phantom equity. It's a term I didn't, as pulled from other individuals. And so they get a piece of the sale, the exit, when we go to the exit and I when I was talking about bringing one of these managers on, he said, well, what happens if, 3 months before you know that you're about to exit, you fire me? And I said, well, I mean, that is a possibility. We're both taking a risk on each other. You just got to have to believe that I'm of good character and that I wouldn't ruin my character in the process of letting you go too early, since this is called phantom equity. I said, but you're earning a really good living in the process on the day-to-day
Yes.
and your actions. This phantom equity is over here to say, hey, this is your reward for helping push this to a point to where we can take the chips off the table.
Mhm.
And I said, but I would be shooting myself in the foot if I let you go 3 months before we exited, because now who's going to fill your role? Because they're looking at the people. And he said, well, how long, what if I wanted to leave after I get my portion of the equity? And I said, well, that's not very realistic. I said, none of us are going to be leaving day one. You're going to have to be a part and expect to get paid. There will be a period of time they're going to want you to be on because you're in a management role, but this is all a part to be able to get that large amount of chips that come off the table.
Right.
There's just some sacrifices. And you may love the new owners. We're not going to just sell to someone that's going to, trash the place and mistreat individuals. There's still a human component to every business, and a good business owner is looking at who's going to be taking care of these individuals that's helped get you to this place where you can exit. That's why I love the fact that you're sharing and doing bonuses, because it shows the appreciation of their work that they've done. And not everybody gets that bonus, but your key players that help you build, absolutely. So people is a huge component to being able to sell.
Yeah, I had a list a long time ago. I knew, there's tiers. Certain people do way more. And it's not about being there longer, in case sometimes they are. Everybody knows who the biggest. Because I have a player who's only been on the team for 2 years, but she has massive impact. So she passed a lot of people. She just does a lot more. So that's just part of it. And I think that's fair. And then, but yeah, if you want to, you have to stay if you want the bigger thing on the back end. That's the deal. You don't have to do it because I don't owe you anything.
Right.
You were getting your salary.
Right.
This is, do you want more?
Right.
Why would somebody leave? You're going to leave to go get a regular salary somewhere else. Doesn't make any sense.
Right. You're still being paid on the daily for your activities.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody leaving. For all the guys we know who do exits, their teams always stay on. Because think if you're somebody and you make $80,000 a year, and you might have 60 grand on the back end of that, or whatever it is, or
why would you?
Why would you leave? That's you're making your salary, and then you're just going to get this dump of money. You're going to upgrade your house.
Even if culture changed, I would suffer it for the next year to get that back end money. I mean, there's just sometimes you sacrifice in life. Often you have to sacrifice in life for a reward at the end.
One thing I could tell you I did wrong for so many years was it's the grape watermelon analogy. I was the king of it. I wanted this entire grape. Like, I don't want anybody having, I don't want bonuses. I'm the guy. And I want to pay people kind of the least. Fair, but like, I wasn't trying to do it. If you want to really sell and make millions of dollars, there's going to be other people who are going to eat off that, and it feels good too. And why shouldn't they? No. Do you want to make 20 million and you give up $1 million and you still got 19, or do you want to sell for 3 million and you only one got it, and a bunch of people are like, I don't know. I think he sold it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, man.
They don't even sell for 3 million. They sell for 400.
It's way more fun to sit there and play the game with others. I've seen that. I've had that opportunity. I've doing Blue Collar Millionaire with you, doing the windshield business with Mike and Matt and you. I've another business I've got partners in as well. The ideas and the shrinking of time, because the ideas come at such better capacity, and then you're able to execute on them quicker. There's a reason why Kings had board of advisors sitting around a table before they made decisions, because they knew it was life or death.
It's a huge thing. Is we all do this when we're solo. I did this. You decide on something at 10 a.m., you change it at 4 p.m., then at 9 o'clock at night, and then at midnight. You've made 4 different decisions. Yeah. But when we make one on that 11 a.m. call, we don't change it.
It's done.
I might change it in my head. Maybe we should do this at 4 and then at 9, but it's already in motion. We're good. We all agreed on it. But otherwise, I might do anything I want.
Yeah, I love the power of community. I'm every Tuesday morning sitting down with my management team, asking what's going on. We brainstorm together, whiteboarding session, whatever you want to call it. point is when you can get very intelligent ideas on the table where everybody can see them, your opportunity to make a correct decision is much greater.
And when you get A players on your team and bright people, ask them, what would make it your job easier? What can I do to make you more effective working your genius? And then put it back on them. They'll come to you with ideas. You just got to make sure you're asking the right people. I did that for gutters. What will make it safer for you to do faster, to do more buildings? Most people gave me lots of good feedback, and I applied some. One guy said, I think you should put flat screens in the van. So we could, like, just ridiculous. I said, don't ask this guy anymore. He's wasting my time. Other guys were, you should get the type 2 ladders. They're lighter. We can do faster. And we did it. So I ask my team all the time, people should really ask their team. They're in this 40 hours a week. They have ideas, and they're going to be more interested when their ideas everybody wants their ideas.
Absolutely. So recapping the 5 things. Number 1 is have good clarity on what you offer to the marketplace. Number 2, predictability in your income. Number 3, predictability in your leads. Number 4 is clean books, and number 5 is people. You got to have the right people.
You got to have all those things.
They've got to be running the company without you. Otherwise, with you being the face, you're going to turn into an employee.
And if you only had the first 4, you're probably going to get a 3 or 4x multiple. If you have all 5, you can get a 10.
Yeah. I love it, man.
That's
a great
big
episode.
difference. That's the hardest one, the people one.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.